Did you know the numbness in your hands, the weakness in your legs, or that constant feeling of fatigue might be caused by vegetables you thought were healthy? I'm Dr. Thomas. For over 30 years, I've helped older adults just like you, people eating clean, staying active, yet still feeling like their bodies are failing them. What if I told you 7 common vegetables, often labeled superfoods, may be triggering nerve pain, muscle loss, even affecting your balance? It's not aging. It's not your fault. But if you don't know what to look for, the damage could already be happening. In the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly which vegetables to avoid, and more importantly, what to eat instead to protect your nerves, muscles, and independence. Don't miss it. Your next step might be the one that changes everything. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Spinach, a silent trigger for nerve discomfort. Did you know that something as innocent as a bowl of spinach could be contributing to the numbness in your hands or the weakness in your legs? It's a truth that often catches many of my senior patients off guard. Spinach, celebrated for decades as a powerhouse of nutrients, is undeniably rich in antioxidants, iron, and vitamins. But beneath that vibrant green surface lies a hidden danger for aging bodies: oxalates, natural compounds that can silently undermine nerve health in older adults. Let me tell you about Eleanor, a 73-year-old retired teacher from Michigan. She came to my clinic frightened and frustrated. Her fingers tingled every morning. She dropped her coffee mug twice in 1 week. Climbing stairs felt like dragging anchors tied to her ankles. "Doctor," she said, "am I just falling apart?" What she didn't know, and what most seniors are never told, is that her daily spinach smoothie was part of the problem. You see, spinach contains one of the highest concentrations of oxalic acid among all vegetables. In a younger body, this might not cause much concern. But as we age, the kidneys work slower. Circulation weakens. Mineral balance becomes delicate. When oxalates bind to calcium in the body, and especially when kidney function is not at peak performance, it can lead to crystal formations that deposit in tissues, joints, and yes, even nerve pathways. This can trigger tingling, numbness, muscle cramps, and in some cases, even contribute to nerve degeneration. Many older adults mistake these symptoms for arthritis or poor circulation. In truth, the culprit might be hiding in plain sight on their dinner plate. Eleanor had been eating spinach nearly every day, believing it would strengthen her bones. But the very food she thought was protecting her was quietly robbing her of her mobility and comfort. As a physician who has spent decades working with seniors, I cannot stress this enough. Your body does not respond to food the same way it did at 30 or even 50. What was once fuel may now become friction. Oxalates do not just affect calcium absorption, they also impair magnesium and vitamin B6 utilization, which are essential for nerve health and muscle function. The result? A creeping, quiet onset of discomfort that you assume is just aging, when in fact, it's a preventable dietary misstep. Eleanor changed her routine. She cut back spinach to once a week and began rotating in low oxalate greens like romaine and arugula. Within 6 weeks, her symptoms had eased. She could button her blouse again. Her hands no longer tingled when she read her book at night. So if you've been waking up with strange sensations in your hands, if your legs feel unsteady and you worry about falling, don't ignore it. Don't brush it off as just another day older. Sometimes the foods we trust most are quietly tipping the scale in the wrong direction. But spinach isn't the only beloved vegetable that could be hurting you. In fact, one of the most praised greens in America may be slowly draining your energy and sabotaging your thyroid without a single warning sign. Keep listening. What I'm about to tell you may surprise you even more. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Kale, the health food that can disrupt thyroid function. For years, kale has been celebrated as a miracle vegetable, loaded with antioxidants, fiber, and vitamins. Every health magazine praises it. Every grocery store stocks it front and center. But what if I told you that for seniors, this so-called superfood could be quietly disrupting a vital organ and slowly draining your strength? Let me introduce you to Raymond, a 68-year-old retired firefighter from Ohio. When he first came to see me, he looked tired. Not the kind of tired that comes from a poor night's sleep. This was deeper. His voice had grown hoarse. He had gained nearly 15 pounds in 2 months without changing his diet. His hands trembled. His legs felt like sandbags. "I'm eating healthier than ever, Doc," he said. "I've been putting kale in everything. Smoothies, salads, even soups." What Raymond didn't know, and what most seniors aren't told, is that kale contains goitrogens, compounds that can interfere with how the thyroid gland functions. For older adults, whose thyroids may already be slowing down with age, this disruption can trigger hypothyroidism, a condition where the thyroid doesn't produce enough hormones. And when that happens, everything slows. Your metabolism, your circulation, your energy, your brain clarity, and yes, the strength in your legs. A weakened thyroid can also cause a drop in nerve conduction and blood flow to extremities, leading to numbness, muscle weakness, and in some cases, depression or cognitive fog. Seniors often attribute these symptoms to aging, but in truth, their diet may be quietly working against them. Raymond had unknowingly overloaded his body with raw kale nearly every day. After a full thyroid panel, we confirmed early stage hypothyroidism. I advised him to significantly reduce raw kale, especially in smoothies, and switch to gentler greens like steamed bok choy or dandelion greens. Within 2 months, his energy began returning. He told me, "Doc, I finally feel like myself again." The truth is, eating healthy doesn't always mean eating right for your age. As a senior, your body is more sensitive, your glands more vulnerable, and the consequences of imbalance more dangerous. But there's another vegetable on this list that shocked even me, one that many seniors eat for heart health, but that may quietly be triggering dizziness, weakness, and dangerous drops in blood pressure. Stay with me. What you learn next might protect your heart and your legs. 3. Beets. Sweet roots, bitter aftermath. Beets are often called nature's candy. They're colorful, sweet, and full of nutrients. For many older adults, they feel like a safe, heart-healthy choice. But as a physician who's worked closely with seniors for over 3 decades, I've seen firsthand how this innocent root can turn bitter, especially for aging bodies that don't process it like they used to. Let me share the story of Margaret, a 74-year-old widow from Pennsylvania. After her husband passed, Margaret became more health-focused. She began roasting beets for lunch and juicing them each morning, encouraged by everything she read about their anti-inflammatory properties. But a few months later, she started feeling lightheaded when standing. Her legs trembled when walking from the kitchen to the living room. She told me she felt floaty, like her body wasn't anchored anymore. When Margaret came to see me, we reviewed her diet, medications, and ran some blood work. What we uncovered surprised her. Her blood pressure was fluctuating dramatically and her oxalate levels were high. Beets, though nutritious, are rich in both oxalates and nitrates. In older adults, especially those on blood pressure medication or with slower kidney function, this combination can be dangerous. Nitrates from beets convert into nitric oxide in the body, which dilates blood vessels. While this sounds beneficial for seniors, it can lead to sudden drops in blood pressure, causing dizziness, instability, and leg weakness. And the oxalates, they can interfere with calcium absorption, irritate the kidneys, and increase the risk of nerve irritation and even kidney stones. Margaret was stunned. "I was just trying to do the right thing," she said quietly. And she was. But no one told her how a healthy food for one person might be a hidden threat for another, especially someone over 70 with delicate circulation and bone metabolism. We adjusted her diet, lowered her beet intake to once a week, and added hydration and potassium-rich foods. Within weeks, the dizziness lessened. She began moving more freely, feeling grounded again in her own body. If you've ever stood up and felt your knees buckle or the room spin, the cause might not be your age. It might be what's on your plate. And what if I told you that a well-loved leafy green, famous for supporting strong bones, may actually be blocking your nerves from functioning properly? Keep reading. This next one will surprise you. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now, let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Collard greens. High calcium, low bioavailability. Collard greens have been a trusted part of many American meals for generations. Rich in calcium and vitamin K, they're seen as a powerhouse for bone strength, especially for older adults worried about fractures and osteoporosis. But what most seniors don't realize is that the calcium in collard greens isn't always getting where it's needed most, into your bones, your nerves, and your muscles. And that hidden disconnect can quietly lead to serious problems. One of my patients, Walter, a 76-year-old veteran from Georgia, came to me complaining of increasing stiffness and strange muscle twitches in his legs. "I thought I was doing everything right," he said. "I've been eating greens every day to keep my bones strong." But Walter had unknowingly fallen into a nutritional trap that's common among older adults. While collard greens are indeed high in calcium, they also contain oxalic acid, which binds to calcium and prevents the body from absorbing it properly. For seniors, this can be dangerous. Your bones may stay brittle, but the unabsorbed calcium doesn't just disappear. It can deposit in soft tissues, even in arteries or joints, leading to stiffness, poor circulation, and numbness or weakness in the legs. Walter's legs weren't just tired, they were signaling that something deeper was out of balance. After reviewing his diet in labs, we made a few simple adjustments, reducing high oxalate greens and increasing bioavailable calcium sources like sardines, cooked broccoli, and a highly absorbable calcium supplement. Within weeks, the twitching faded. His legs felt lighter. Most importantly, Walter no longer feared walking across the room alone. This is what I want you to hear. Just because a food is high in calcium doesn't mean your body can use it. And in aging bodies, what you absorb matters far more than what you consume. But collard greens aren't the only colorful vegetable with a hidden cost. One particularly vibrant leafy green, often praised for its beauty and taste, may be draining your energy cell by cell. You need to hear this next one before it becomes part of your daily mistake. 5. Swiss chard, a false friend to aging bodies. Swiss chard, with its vibrant stems and leafy greens, looks like the very picture of health. It's a popular vegetable among those aiming to age gracefully, rich in magnesium, iron, and vitamins A and C. Many older adults add it to soups, salads, and sauté pans, believing they're nourishing their bodies. But what if I told you that for people over 60, this superfood might actually be draining your energy and disrupting your nervous system? I think often of Barbara, a 69-year-old retired librarian who came to me confused and frightened. She described an overwhelming fatigue that hit her every afternoon, numbness in her toes, and a sense that her legs didn't quite belong to her. I eat clean, I walk every day, she said, but I feel like I'm fading. When I reviewed her diet, one thing stood out: Swiss chard eaten almost daily. What Barbara didn't know was that Swiss chard is extremely high in oxalates, which can build up in the body and interfere with the function of the mitochondria, the parts of our cells responsible for producing energy. As we age, our mitochondria already slow down. Add a constant intake of oxalates, and you're essentially suffocating your cell's power supply. For seniors, this can mean deep, chronic fatigue, leg heaviness, and subtle but frightening signs like tremors or numbness. Worse, oxalates can contribute to nerve inflammation, especially when kidneys aren't filtering as efficiently. Barbara was, in her words, doing everything right, but her body was quietly overwhelmed by something it couldn't process the way it once did. After reducing her chard intake, increasing hydration, and supporting her mitochondrial health with targeted supplements and cooked low oxalate greens, Barbara slowly began to feel like herself again. Her voice returned with strength. She told me, "I can walk to my garden again without having to sit halfway." Aging doesn't mean you need to stop eating vegetables. It means you need to eat with wisdom, not trends. Just because it's colorful doesn't mean it's kind to your body. But if you thought a leafy green could rob you of energy, wait until you see how a popular spring vegetable may be irritating your joints and silently raising your uric acid levels. The next one may shock you, especially if you've been told it's cleansing. 6. Asparagus, a hidden irritant for sensitive nerves. Asparagus often appears on the plate of health-conscious seniors. Steamed, roasted, or blended into soups, it's praised for being heart-friendly, cleansing, and rich in vitamins that support aging bodies. But behind that elegant green spear lies a secret that many older adults aren't aware of. Asparagus may quietly irritate your nervous system and aggravate underlying joint or nerve inflammation, especially if your kidneys or metabolism are already slowing with age. I'll never forget Howard, a 79-year-old Navy veteran from Indiana. He came to me complaining of sharp tingling in his hands and sudden stiffness in his fingers. He described it like electric shocks that would shoot up his arms, sometimes waking him at night. At first, we looked for common causes: diabetes, arthritis, even carpal tunnel, but none explained the sudden onset. It wasn't until I reviewed his diet that the picture came together. Howard had recently started eating asparagus daily after reading that it could lower blood pressure and improve energy. Problem? Asparagus is high in purines, which break down into uric acid in the body, and in older adults with declining kidney function, often without symptoms, uric acid can build up in the joints and soft tissue. This doesn't just trigger gout. It can lead to nerve irritation, burning sensations, and joint stiffness, especially in the hands, feet, and knees. For someone like Howard, who already had borderline kidney issues, this vegetable became a daily irritant that turned into a nightly nightmare. Once we removed asparagus from his meals, added more hydration, and supported his kidney function with simple dietary changes, his symptoms began to ease. Within a few weeks, the tingling softened and the pain faded. He shook my hand firmly and said, "I thought I was losing control of my body. I didn't know it was the food I trusted most." That's the silent danger. Many seniors eat good foods not realizing how their body's capacity to filter, process, and recover has changed. What once helped you may now trigger nerve discomfort you can't explain. And if you think asparagus is the last surprise, wait until you learn what one of America's most popular vegetables could be doing to your thyroid, your gut, and your sense of balance. What I reveal next may shock you. Keep reading. Your stability may depend on it. 7. Broccoli. Surprisingly risky in large amounts. Broccoli has been on America's list of must-eat vegetables for decades. It's packed with fiber, vitamin C, and plant compounds known to support immune and skin health. For seniors especially, it sounds like a nutritional no-brainer. But what I've learned in over 30 years of medical practice is this. What seems healthy on paper isn't always right for every aging body, especially when eaten in excess. I think of Jack, an active 72-year-old retired mailman from Indiana. He believed in clean eating and prided himself on loading his plate with steamed broccoli at almost every meal. Yet, he came to my clinic complaining of frequent bloating, discomfort in his lower back, and a growing feeling of stiffness in his legs. "Dr. Thomas," he told me, "I feel like I'm doing everything right, but my body feels heavier every day." After a detailed review of his diet and symptoms, I saw what many overlook. Broccoli, while nutritious, contains FODMAPs, fermentable carbohydrates that can cause digestive stress, especially in aging adults with slower digestion or underlying gastrointestinal sensitivities. The bloating Jack was experiencing was putting pressure on his spine and sciatic nerve, mimicking nerve compression, and contributing to the numbness in his legs. Even more concerning, broccoli is also a goitrogen, meaning it can subtly interfere with thyroid function when eaten in large quantities, particularly in its raw form. For seniors already at risk of age-related thyroid decline, this can lead to symptoms like cold extremities, slowed metabolism, fatigue, and muscular weakness, the very signs that can threaten one's independence and confidence. We scaled back Jack's broccoli intake and diversified his vegetables, introducing cooked low FODMAP options like zucchini and carrots. Within weeks, the pressure eased. His digestion improved. He smiled when he said, "I didn't know food could make me feel so stuck," and then set me free again. You see, even the healthiest choices can backfire when the body is no longer 40. Aging changes digestion, hormone sensitivity, and the nervous system's resilience. Broccoli isn't bad, but too much of a good thing, especially in a sensitive body, can become a burden. And now, as you've uncovered the surprising truth about these 7 vegetables, it's time we pull everything together, because knowing what not to eat is only part of the picture. What matters most is what you choose to do next, and that's where the real power lies. Don't miss this final message. When healthy isn't safe anymore, the truth aging bodies need to hear. Did you know that the choices we made for our health in our 40s may not serve us the same way in our 70s? This truth is difficult for many to accept because it means rethinking what we believed for a lifetime. It means acknowledging that even our best efforts, eating vegetables, drinking green juices, following every bit of mainstream advice, might not protect us from harm unless they're matched to the needs of our aging bodies. As a doctor who has walked with hundreds of older adults through their health journeys, I've seen the heartbreak of confusion. People like you, wise, disciplined, trying their best, come to me exhausted, in pain, scared of what's happening to their body. Tingling hands, legs that don't hold them up like they used to, fatigue that robs them of joy. And worst of all, the silent question, is this just what getting old feels like? The answer, often, is no. The vegetables we discussed, spinach, kale, beets, collard greens, Swiss chard, asparagus, broccoli, are not evil, but they can be problematic for a body that processes minerals, hormones, and toxins more slowly. They can trigger inflammation, disrupt nerve signals, and quietly sabotage your mobility, all while wearing the mask of health. But knowledge is power. Once you understand what's happening, you can make better choices. You can eat in a way that truly supports your bones, your nerves, your muscles, and most importantly, your independence. So I urge you, don't settle for decline. Don't write off weakness, numbness, or fatigue as just age. You have the right to feel strong, steady, and clear-minded in every season of life. In my next guide, I'll show you exactly which foods help reverse nerve damage, strengthen muscle function, and restore energy safely for seniors, based on real clinical experience and science, not fads. Because aging well isn't about fear. It's about clarity, courage, and the right kind of care. And that journey starts now with you. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.